John chapter 9. Jesus heals a man born blind. As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man who had been blind from birth. Rabbi, his disciples asked him, why was this man born blind? Was it because of his own sins or his parents' sins? It wasn't not because of his sins or his parents' sins. Jesus answered, this happened so the power of God could be seen in him. We must quickly carry out the tasks assigned us and by the one who sent us. The night is coming, and then no one can work. But while I'm here, in the world, I am the light of the world. Then he spit on the ground and made mud with the saliva, and spread the mud over the blind man's eyes. He told him, go wash yourself in the pool of Siloam. Siloam means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. His neighbors and the others knew him as a blind beggar. Asked each other, isn't the man who used to sit and beg? Some said, and others said, no, it looks like him. But the beggar kept saying, yes, I am the same one. They asked, who healed you? What happened? He told them, the man who they called Jesus made mud, spread it over my eyes, and told me to go to the pool of Siloam, wash yourself. So I went, and now I can see. Where is he now? They asked. I don't know, he replied. They took the man who had been blind to the Pharisees, because it was on the Sabbath that Jesus had made the mud and healed him. The Pharisees asked the man all about it, so he told them, he put the mud over my eyes, and when I washed it away, I could see. Some of the Pharisees said, this man Jesus is not from God, for he is working on the Sabbath. Others said, how could an ordinary sinner do such miraculous signs? So there was a division of appointment among them. Then the Pharisees again questioned the man who had been blind and demanded, what's your appointment? This man who healed you. The man replied, I think he must be a prophet. The Jewish leaders still refused to believe the man been blind could see now. So they called in his parents. They told them, is this your son? He was born blind. Was he born blind? If so, how now can he see? His parents replied, we know this is our son and that he was born blind, but we do not know how he could see or who healed him. Ask him, he's old enough to speak for himself. His parents said this because they were afraid of the Jewish leaders who announced anyone saying Jesus was the Messiah would be expelled from the synagogue. That's why they said he's old enough to ask him. For the second time, they called the man who had been blind and told him God should get the glory for this, because we know this man Jesus is a sinner. I do not know whether he is a sinner, the man replied, but I know this. I was blind. Now I could see. But how did he do it? They asked him. How did he heal you? Look, he exclaimed. I told you once. Didn't you listen? Why do you want to hear it again? Do you want to become one of his disciples too? Then they cursed him and said, You are his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. We know God spoke to Moses, but we don't even know where this man comes from. Why, that's very strange, the man replied. He healed my eyes, yet you do not know where he comes from. We know that God doesn't listen to sinners, but he is ready to hear to those who worship and will do his will. Ever since the world began, no one has been able to open the eyes of someone born blind. If the man were not from God, how could he have done it? You were born a total sinner, they answered. Are you trying to teach us? And they threw him out of the synagogue. Spiritual blindness. When Jesus heard what had happened, he found the man, asked him, Do you believe in the Son of Man? The man answered, Who is he, sir? I want to believe in him. You have seen him, Jesus said, and he is speaking to you. Yes, Lord, I believe, the man said, and he worshiped Jesus. Then Jesus told him, I entered the world to retain judgment, to give sight to the blind, and those who show those who think they are that they are blind. So the Pharisees who were standing nearby heard him, asked, What are you saying? Were we blind? If you were blind, you wouldn't be guilty, Jesus replied. But if you remain guilty because you claim you can see.